This daf here, Yerushalmi Eruvin, in the article Oz V'Hara edition, we're on daf Zayin Amud Aleph at the Balacha Gimel, which is the fourth line down, and in the Vilna, we're also on daf Zayin Amud Aleph, and the Balacha Gimel, which is the sixth line down. So Korash Amro. Ruchava Ketei Lekabel Riach. The Korah above the opening of the Mavli has to be wide enough to accept a Riach. What is an Riach? A Riach is half a brick of 3 Tvachim, meaning 1.5 Tvachim. Dai Lekor Shadei Ruchava Utefach Lekabel Riach Lorako. So it's enough that the Korah is a tefach wide in order that it'll hold a tefach along. It'll hold an Riach along its length. So the width of the brick is 3 tefachim. It's 3 by 1.5. And we know a korah has to be a tefach because you would take a korah, put the middle tefach of the riach over the korah, and then secure it with pitch or cement, so to protrude the tefach over each side. But that's held in place by being cemented down to the korah. So I'm right, but it says Gemara. It's in order to receive a row of arichim, of these bricks, and here it says orkan, but the Moody Yerushalmi brings down the gears of the ritva from the Eruvin Daf Yud Gimel that it's kedei kabel of dimus orchin le rachvan, according to their width, and Tanner Shum Gamliel Mer kedei kabel of dimus orchin le orkan. It's going to their length. So what's an afkamina? My beneon. Rabbi Shin. Shimon said, "Bruyos beneim." How strong the korah has to be is the difference between the two of them. Al daitin rabbanan. According to rabbanan, if you had a korah of 10 amos and you put the arichim along it, so you have in each, since each arich is 1.5 tvachim. So therefore, you're going to have 40 bricks, because 10 amos is 60 tefachim, and therefore, 60 divided by 1.5 equals 40. According, so that you're putting the bricks to their length, which is going to have 40 bricks, and that picture is in the art scroll over here. There. According to Shin Gamliel, so it's going to be here. It says Asora, but the Shas changes it to the Ritva or the Esrin Archid. It's 20 bricks because it's again each to have six Tvachim. It's 2 bricks because the length is 3. So therefore, it's 3 tvachim, so it's 2 bricks per amma, so 6 tvachim, so 20 altogether. That's an archim. Okay, so the korah has to be strong enough to hold this row of bricks, and that row of bricks again is either 20 or 40, depending on whether they are the 1.5 is along the length of the korah, or 1.5 is across the korah. If the 1.5 is across the korah, so then it doesn't extend a tefach on each side. The korah only extends an etzba over the each side of the korah, because therefore it's posted a tefach, and therefore 1.5 is going to have an etzba on protruding over either side of the korah, not a tefach on each side. Okay, so it says, let's say you couldn't get a korah which was full tefach wide. So shtei korahs b'zu chasi tefach. He had two beams. One was half a tefach wide, another was half a tefach wide. Kam b'nei, how much allowed to be between the two of them? So b'zir chasi tefach, no more than half a tefach. The Korban says in order to be oimim rubel parts, in order that there should be more, there shouldn't be parts middle. It should have more open space in the middle than you have standing space on either side of that hole. So it should be no more than a half a tefach space between the two of them. Ma ben chatzi tefach mikan chatzi tefach mikan. So what's between half a tefach on this side, half a tefach on that side? It says v'chatzi. Maybe it should be chatzi, but anyway, chatzi tefach, b'emtza, half a tefach in the middle. Tan Rabbi Yosha said no, up to a tefach in the middle is good enough. You don't have to, as long as you have half a tefach on this side, half a tefach on that side, and even up to a tefach in the middle, that's good enough. And obviously, the Paretz Muba issue does not concern us, as this would work as well. Article brings down from some of the Mefarshim that this is talking about specifically where, according to the opinion, that the 1.5 tefach, that the 1.5 tefach width on the korah, if according to put on the width of the korah, if the 3 tefachim width goes across the korah, so then the korahs could be theoretically further apart, the 2 half korahs. So what we just had seems to hold that when you have two boards which are 2 beams which are parallel, you have to have between the 2 of them at least a tefach and a half. We don't take into account the overlap which we allow when you have a single korah. It could be a tefach wide, or the brick will overlap on either side. The next opinion does take that into account. The next opinion says no, between the 2, but you don't need a tefach and a half between the 2 beams and the gap in the middle. No, it's enough to have it's enough to have in total a tefach, and we take into account the overlap which we normally have. Tiny Rabbi Yosha tefach, shtei koros, b'zeh shlish and zeh shlish. You have 2 beams, each of which is a third of a tefach. I'm sorry, shlish koshu. Each one is a third and a little bit more. And between them is a little bit less than a shlish, so we say Omer Eruvin in this case, and it works. If you need to make a 4x4 tefach space for Rishus Yachid, and we have a bore with a rim around it, and you can include the bore in the middle as long as the rims are oimim merubah on the bore. So here too, you can include the third over here, the third over here, and the side less than the third plus a little bit on here. It's this side, third plus a little bit on the other side, and you lose a little bit less than the third in the middle, and you get up to a tefach, and that suffices to be considered to be wide enough to makabel the riach of 1.5 fachim. This is going to be that you have to have oimed rabba chol, more oimed than you have, more structure than standing pace, then more structure than open space. Okay, next case. You have a beam which comes out from one wall that does not touch the other wall. I don't know if you need a picture, but you do have a picture here in the art scroll. Right, it comes from one wall and does not touch the other wall. So the you have 2 opposite each other. That's the next picture down here. The bottom picture. If between the 2 koros, or between the top korah and the wall, there is 3 more than 3 tvachim, a tzara korah, you need to have another korah. In other words, it's you don't love it anymore, and therefore you have to bring something else to fill up the gap. But if not, ain't tzara korah, you don't need to bring another korah. The gap is considered to be filled. Is tane arba. Those who say that if it's less than 4 tvachim, then you don't need to bring another korah. The love is going to be up to 4 tvachim. Ma'adamar shalosh. So the interesting, the Gemara, I don't remember the Bavli ever bringing down what his opinion would be between Lavud being Shlosha and Love being Arba. But here it does say, Ma'adamar shalosh k'tei averas adam. The Carbon says, "Shiyoch adam lavor b'toch chalok. Shalom dochek atzmo yochol lavor b'pargo amsa." That's the shear of a person who can squeeze through. A person can squeeze through in half an amma, meaning 3 tvachim. So therefore, love is up to 3 tvachim. The other man, arba k'dei mokum. He says here in the Korbaneda, that Tvachim Havale Makam Chashuv. So up to 4 Tvachim, you could say Lavud. It's interesting because Lavud is Halacha Moshe Sinai. You would think that the Machlekes is what Halacha Moshe Sinai is. And if that's the case, it's kind of like time of the Krah. I saw the Yerushalmi Eruvin wants to say this. It's a separate issue. I don't think it's right, but he wants to say it's a separate issue than Lavud. No, what's Lavud is Taka Machlekes. If it's 3 talking 4 talking, it's a separate Machlekes. By the Korah, what's considered to be an interruption of the Korah, non-interruption Korah, which is independent of Lavud. And that's like when it doesn't mention Lavud here, it seems to make it a separate Machlekes. It's an interesting theory. I don't think it's correct, but it's an interesting theory. Okay, next case, very interesting case. You have Korah Sharosh Chalamal Mr. Mamo. Korah, what side is above 20 amos, which is no good. The other side is below 20 amos, which is good. Rowing, we look. Where do you chop it at within 3 tefachim of the wall? And whatever's there would be within 20 amos. Mutter, it's okay. If you love osir, if not, it's osir. And there's a nice picture in the article. A little bit hard to see, but let's try it anyway. The beam is like this. There's about 20 amos. It's below 20 amos, and within 3 tefachim of the see, there's a darker color. That's what it would remain if you chopped over within 3 tefachim of the wall. This part over here, and if that part is below 20 amos, and it's in 3 tefachim of the wall. So then the car, of course, is kosher because you have enough of a shear to cross the width of the mavoi, which is under 20 amos. Okay, so that's what you would look at. Kilo yogurt is if you cut it off over there and look at what the remainder would be. Similarly, one side is above 10 tvachim, which is good. One of the other side is below 10 tvachim, which is bad. If you chop within 3 tvachim of the end, here it says besoch asar tvachim, but it should be l'malim asar tvachim. In the article, it's changed in the text itself. Then mutter is permissible, v'lav asar, and if not, it's also, of course, that's the converse of the previous case. Shtei koros zula malam mizu. You have 2 koros, one above the other. Now it's hard to tell from the picture here. Again, it's a small picture, but they're not directly opposite each other because then it wouldn't help us. We're talking about each one is not a tefach unto itself, but if you join them together, they make up a tefach. Right. So, but they if you look closely at the picture, you'll see that one is slightly the top one is slightly further protruding to the outside of the mavi, and the inner one is protruding towards the inside of the mavi. So you have these 2 tkaros, which together they make up a tefach, but not separately. We look at the bottom one as if it's higher up, and the upper one which as if it's further below. As long as the top one is not about 20 amos, it's no good. And the bottom one should not be below 10 tefachim, which of course is no good as well. If I recall correctly, the Bible is called Chavot Rami. Push one down, pull one up, and that's to bring them both together. So Ashkach Tani, we find in this brisa, not that we find a brisa, we find in this brisa that Rabbi Yosef B'Shitas Aviv Cholok Aviv. Rabbi Yosef is going partially in his father's shita, and it's partially arguing his father's shita. B'Shitas Aviv is going partially in his father's shita. The Yomar, because used the principle of rowing, we see. And that's in the next Mishnah, not next Mishnah, Halacha Hey. Halacha Hey, it says, if the core is made out of weak substance, of straw or of reeds, took it as if it's made out of metal. And therefore, even though it's as it is, it can't accept bricks. It's made of metal, it could accept bricks, so therefore it's okay. And the Gemara says that that's going to call Rabbi Yehuda. So Zuchav Afal B'Shein Abriya, if it's wide enough, even if it's not strong enough. So here too, we say rowing. Same idea. We see the one above as if it's below, and one below as if it's above. So the V'chalka Shita, but he also are so. I skip. let me go back again. So there's Ashar Yosef Yilam B'Shis Avi Cholgavi B'Shis Avi Damar Royes Tachton Kilu Malav Aliyah Kilu Matan V'Cholgavi is arguing his father. Tu Amar Vach Yete Eliyah Lote Eliyah B'Z Malam Yestri Mama. But he says you can go up to 40 or 50 amos, right? He says the top one has to be can't be above 20 amos. And the bottom one can't be below 10 fachim. He take Shita Savivu if he went to his father's Shita. I feel a malam mikam. Even if it's much higher than 20 amos to be good enough. Rabbi Yosef Chinena b'Bar Shelmiah and Rabbi Yuna Chinena b'Bar Shelmiah. Both said b'Shem Rab who shall yera b'toch shlosh and fachim tachtoina. It says no. It doesn't go that one is real down, real low, and one is real far up. That they can join them together. No, they have to within 3 tvachim of each other. There's a picture if you want a picture. Within 3 tvachim. Okay, halacha dal. It has to be wide enough to accept this brick and strong enough to accept this brick. And before we said 20 bricks, 40 bricks. Even Rabbi says it's wide enough, even though it's not strong enough. And the next Mishnah says halacha explains that. And that's what we just said. So Rabbi Shita that we say rowing. Okay, Tanya Rabbi Shimon Omer Bri Ava Bisha Ein Rechava. Rabbi Shimon says if it's strong enough, even if it's not wide enough, that's enough. So this would be a third opinion. Rav said, halacha ke Rabbi Meir. There's a Meir who says, Komnei is a ton of kind of a Mishnah. It has to be Chava Ubria. Shmuel Amar halacha ke Rabbi Yehuda. That it has to be Chava, even though it's not Bria. Rishum Levi Amar halacha ke Rabbi Shimon. If it's Bria, even though it's not Rechava. Rabbi Shimon Karas said, Mekim Neteim halacha kadein, halacha kadein. So since we said halacha could be like this one, halacha like this one, so then man david hachein lo chashash, man david hachein lo chashash. You can follow wherever you want. That's more amray mana. No. Became to eat my halacha rabbanon. Since once you have opinion which shows halacha like rabbanon, shavkin the yachid, we forsake the other to the yichidim, and we go like the rabbanon. We go like the rabbanon. And which is, as the Korban says, which is said 3 Yechidim, Rabbi Meir, Rishim, Rabbi Yehuda. So he says, Vayik Rabbi Meir, Shishno Rabbi Stam. Not like Ilu Shno Lashon Chacham. So we go like Rabbi Meir, since it's a Stam Mishnah, it's as if we know that that's the sheet of Rabbanan. Rab Azachad Asar, Rab went to a certain place. Chama Chad Mavi, Sharise Belachaya. So a certain Mavi which is fixed by a Lechi. So people either take out this line or change this line because it seems it wasn't actually a lechi. It seems it was actually a korah we're talking about here. So they have sharise. Chaim takes it out. The Moshe changes it to Moshe to beluya. It was worn out. No, that's Rashba's girsa. Shall we say belaya? It was that thing which permitted it. The korah was worn out. Anyway, so it's possible that to say it was a lechi. It was just that the lechi there was a weak lechi. They didn't like it. But it's more whatever it was, he didn't like. So Yoav le b'chutra, he knocked it with his stick, v'apla, and knocked it down. He was mapilit to show that they have to put up another lechi, another korah. Rav Chuna said, "Dikla kaim." There's a we didn't need it anyway. There's a palm tree there which can serve as a lechi. So Rav said to Rav Chuna, he said, "Einoi the Rav Chuna gaba." The eyes of Rav Chuna see by it. Another, you see it. The Rav Leisin gaba, and the eyes of Rav don't see them. You don't think I see that tekel? I read also mishum kaira. So you can't really say it was a lechi before. I'm asking that they use this week on account of Korah. That's no good. Shabbos Abani, Mate Mishum Lechi. Next week, I allow them to use the decal on account as a lechi. They should know sheminata decal. She also that you can only use the decal. That what they were using it for is not good. If the decal is removed, said us tauto. It'll be us to it'll be us for them to move it to tauto. Boy, man, someone wanted to say he said, I don't want them to lie in this Korah, even though they have the decal. They ask them until they fix it. They shouldn't hold like Rabbi Yehuda because every since was worn out. So therefore, it was you need to say rowing and the Rabbi Yehuda Amar Rechava Abi Sheina Bria, and therefore, I want them to remove it. Or people should get that impression and can rely on that Korah. Okay, next week they rely on Lechi. The Dekel is Lechi. But this Korah, I wanted to make sure everybody knows we don't pass in like Rabbi Yehuda. Okay, we have a different version of this, but that's already tomorrow's Gemara. So we'll stop here for today. I think it's a different version. Yeah, the version of Rabbi Yehuda's version, they'll come up tomorrow.